Becoming a United States citizen is a journey that represents both a personal milestone and a significant legal transformation. For many, it's the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and hope for a better future in a new land. This journey is guided by specific rules and requirements, each designed to ensure that new citizens are prepared to fully participate in American society. Generally, you must first be a lawful permanent resident for at least 5 years before applying for naturalization. This period allows immigrants to establish roots, contribute to their communities, and demonstrate their commitment to the country. Applicants must also pass tests on English and U.S. civics, proving they understand the country's foundational principles, history, and system of government. These tests are more than formalities. They're a way to ensure new citizens are informed and engaged. But beyond tests and timelines, there's a deeper requirement: proving good moral character. This isn't just a box to check. It's a reflection of the values the United States seeks in its citizens. The concept of good moral character is a cornerstone of U.S. immigration law, ensuring that those who become citizens will respect the laws, norms, and community standards that bind the nation together. Traditionally, this meant avoiding serious criminal offenses that would disqualify an applicant, such as felonies or crimes involving moral turpitude. But it also covers a range of behaviors, from honesty in dealings with the government to fulfilling family and financial responsibilities. The law assumes that someone who's demonstrated honesty and integrity over time will continue to do so as a citizen, contributing positively to society and upholding the nation's ideals. However, the definition of good moral character isn't fixed. It can change with policy priorities and shifts in government interpretation. What counts as good can be influenced by the political climate and evolving social values. Under the Trump administration, USCIS adopted a broader approach, looking beyond just criminal records to consider a wider range of conduct, including minor legal infractions and even certain civil violations. Now, applicants must affirmatively show their positive contributions and standing in their communities, such as volunteering, helping neighbors, or being recognized for good deeds, demonstrating that they are assets to the nation. This shift fundamentally changed the landscape for those on the path to citizenship, making the process more complex and, for some, more daunting. Yet it also highlights the importance of character and community engagement in the American story. The Trump administration's holistic approach instructed USCIS officers to review an applicant's entire life, not just recent years or criminal records. Officers now consider both negative and positive factors, even minor infractions from years ago. This gives officers more discretion, connecting past actions to present character, even if those actions weren't criminal. Applicants are encouraged to present evidence of their value to the community, like volunteer work or strong family ties. The burden of proof now requires building a positive case, not just avoiding disqualifications. This subjective system means similar applicants could get different outcomes depending on the officer. The result? A more unpredictable and demanding naturalization process. In practice, the holistic approach turns officers into investigators, weighing all available evidence. They look at employment history, financial responsibility, and family ties, not just criminal records. Even old arrests or minor traffic violations can be scrutinized as signs of character. Providing false information on past applications, no matter how long ago, can now be used against an applicant. On the positive side, applicants should bring letters from employers, community leaders, or religious figures. Proof of stable employment, volunteering, or community involvement helps build a strong case. Applicants must now prepare to discuss any part of their past and gather documentation of their good deeds. The interview is no longer just a formality, it's a comprehensive character evaluation. Preparation and storytelling are now essential. Demonstrating positive attributes is now crucial for naturalization. Officers look for evidence of active contributions to society, not just the absence of wrongdoing. Community involvement, like volunteering or helping neighbors, shows commitment to the collective good. Testimonials from employers, landlords, or community members can validate an applicant's character. Family responsibilities, such as being a dedicated parent, are also viewed favorably. School records, letters from teachers, or family photos can help illustrate this. Applicants must weave together work ethic, family dedication, and community engagement into a compelling narrative. The process requires gathering documents and references that paint a full picture of their life. It's about showing, not just telling, that they embody American values. Previously, good moral character was evaluated by a clear checklist of disqualifying crimes within a set period. This checklist was straightforward, focusing on specific offenses that could disqualify an applicant. If you avoided serious offenses for 5 years, you were generally presumed eligible. This meant that applicants had a clear understanding of what was expected of them and could plan accordingly. The process was predictable and objective, focused on the absence of negative factors. Applicants knew that as long as they stayed out of trouble, their chances of approval were high. Now, the holistic system is more subjective and expansive. It takes into account a wider range of behaviors and circumstances, making the evaluation process more complex. Serious crimes still disqualify, but officers can also consider patterns of minor offenses or even non-criminal conduct. This means that even small infractions can impact your application. The review is no longer limited to recent years. Your entire history is fair game. This includes looking back at events that happened many years ago, which can be daunting for applicants. This shift moves from a system of redemption to one of ongoing scrutiny. Applicants must now be prepared for a more invasive review process that examines their entire life. The new approach demands a deeper, more discretionary judgment of character. Officers have more leeway to interpret an applicant's history and make decisions based on a broader set of criteria. While aiming for thoroughness, it creates uncertainty and higher demands for every applicant. The process is now more stressful and requires more preparation. The path to citizenship is now less predictable and more challenging. Applicants must navigate a more complex system with many potential pitfalls. Applicants must be ready for a comprehensive review of their entire life. This means gathering extensive documentation and being prepared to explain any past actions or behaviors. The holistic standard adds complexity and anxiety for immigrants seeking citizenship. Old mistakes, even decades old, can now resurface and be reinterpreted as signs of poor character. Those without legal help may struggle to build a positive case or gather the right documentation. Informal community contributions are harder to prove, putting some at a disadvantage. The expanded review can feel invasive, forcing applicants to justify every past mistake. This can deter eligible immigrants from applying, fearing denial, or even risk to their residency. The process now feels less welcoming and more like a high-stakes examination. The burden of proof is higher, and the stakes are greater for every applicant. Supporters say the holistic review ensures only the most committed, well-rounded individuals become citizens. They argue it allows applicants to showcase positive contributions, not just avoid disqualifications. Critics, however, see the policy as vague and unfair, giving officers too much unchecked discretion. This subjectivity can lead to inconsistent, arbitrary decisions and punishes people for old mistakes. Many legal experts warn the new standard makes citizenship harder, especially for those without resources or legal help. Imagine a resident who was arrested for a fight 15 years ago. Under the old rules, this incident might have been overlooked, especially if it didn't result in a conviction. Now, under the new policy, even distant events like this can be scrutinized in detail, with officials examining the context, the outcome, and any evidence of rehabilitation or remorse. The applicant may be asked to provide police records, court documents, and even personal statements explaining the circumstances and what they've learned since then. Consider another scenario, an applicant who once fell behind on taxes. In the past, showing that the debt was paid might have been enough. Now they must provide extensive documentation, including payment plans, receipts, and written explanations for why the issue occurred. The process demands not just proof of compliance, but a narrative that demonstrates responsibility and growth. For someone with a clean legal record but little community involvement, the pressure is different. They may feel compelled to gather testimonials from neighbors, employers, or community leaders, and to collect evidence of volunteer work or positive contributions, even if these were never formally recognized. Even 2 DUIs from years ago, which might have been dismissed as youthful mistakes, could now lead to denial unless the applicant can show clear evidence of rehabilitation, such as completion of treatment programs, support group attendance, or letters from counselors. Each case now requires careful preparation, with applicants gathering every relevant document, organizing their history, and anticipating questions that might arise. Building a portfolio of positive evidence is essential. This can include reference letters, certificates of achievement, awards, and proof of community service, all aimed at painting a full picture of character and growth. The process is now about telling a convincing story of personal development, responsibility, and contribution to society. Applicants must be ready to articulate their journey and demonstrate how they've changed. The holistic review transforms every application into a complex narrative where every detail matters and every piece of evidence can make a difference. Success now depends on thorough preparation, detailed documentation, and the ability to present one's life story in the best possible light, leaving little room for oversight or error. The stakes are higher than ever, and the margin for error is smaller. For many, the outcome will hinge on their ability to prove not just compliance, but genuine growth and positive impact. The holistic approach has reshaped what it means to prove good moral character. Officers now consider your entire history, not just the last 5 years. Preparation is key. Applicants must address any past issues and gather evidence of positive contributions. Letters of recommendation, proof of volunteering, and testimonials are now essential. Outcomes are less predictable, making legal advice more important than ever. Applicants must present a complete, honest, and favorable picture of their lives. The process demands diligence, documentation, and self-reflection. Proving good moral character is now a more intricate and subjective journey to citizenship.